Hello students, today we'll start third chapter, that is element, compound and mixture. So element, compound and mixture, this is not a new topic to you at all. You have done it in class 6 as well as class 7. Now in class 8 we'll do little extra what we did in class 6 and 7. Okay, so let's see this introduction part which we have already done. Matter is what? Matter is made up of two kind of substances, that is pure substance and impure substance. Now according to chemistry, pure substance and impure substance is not what is in your normal life. In chemistry, pure substance means elements and compound which are made up of only one type of atoms or different atoms combined in a fixed ratio. And impure substances are your mixtures which are made up of elements or compounds combined in any ratio. Okay. A mixture can be made up of two or more elements or maybe compound combined in any ratio. You take two things and mix it randomly, it will become a mixture. Now this is some quick revision from your earlier classes. So total number of elements. So we know we are having 118 elements. Now number of metals is approximately 95. You can take it between 93 to 95. The reason is there is a very fine line between metal and metalloids. Sometimes a particular element it is considered as metalloid, sometimes metal. So you may take it something between 93 to 95. There are 17 non-metals in periodic table. Talking about metalloids, there are 7 metalloids in periodic table. Metalloids which are having properties between non-metals and metals. So boron, silicon, germanium, arsenic, antimony, tellurium and polonium. These are 7 metalloids in your periodic table. Okay. The symbol of first 5 element in the periodic table. So first 5 element, if you remember, hydrogen, helium, lithium, beryllium and boron. So these are the 5 elements in the periodic table. Now next, the formula of any 4 compounds. So this is something very simple. We have learned a number of compound. We can give formula of any compound. The first one we learned water, then NaCl, sodium chloride, carbon dioxide, sulfuric acid, hydrochloric acid. So any 4 compound formula you can write, whatever you like. Okay. So now we'll go to the next page, children. So here we will read in detail about elements. So what are elements? As I told you, they are the pure substances which cannot be broken down easily by a physical or a chemical process. So we cannot break an element by any physical or chemical process because they are made up of same type of atom. I give you a sheet of iron and I tell you to break, means if you break it into smaller and smaller pieces, if it has only got one atom also, that one atom will show all the properties of iron and it will still be iron. It will not change into gold or something else. So we are actually not breaking down it physically or chemically. You cannot break it by any physical or chemical processes. Yes, some atomic processes are there with which some unstable elements can be, like radioactive elements, can be broken down. Now elements are made up of identical atoms or of molecules made up of one kind of atom. Like for example, again if I tell you, you have got a sheet of some element, maybe you have got a sheet of iron. Again if I say, so iron is made up of many atoms, but all the atoms will be of that iron only, Fe. So if you keep on breaking, still how much you can break, the smallest piece will still be iron and it will retain the property, it will get attracted towards magnet. So elements, they are made up of all identical atoms and you cannot break it by any physical or chemical process. Now every element is represented in the form of a symbol. We have already learned these things in previous classes. So just recapitulate those things. So symbols are assigned in different ways. How to find out a symbol for a particular element, because we have got many elements which have got same names, which starts with the same letter. So how we can just how we can assign symbols to different elements. So there are 4 ways how we assign symbols. Symbols are abbreviations of those elements. So how we can assign symbols? So we can use the first letter of the name. Like for example, in case of sulfur, it's S, oxygen it's O, hydrogen it's H. So we can just tell the first letter of the element. Then the first 2 letter of the element. The first 2 letter of the element, you can give example calcium, lithium. Yes, so first 2 letters. A combination of the first letter and the other letter in the name. So the other letter which we are using here, the other letter is the most prominent letter which comes when we pronounce that particular element. Like for example, chlorine. Chlorine is Cl. We don't write Ch. We write Cl. Chlorine. So it is the first letter and the most prominent letter which comes. Now a combination of letters derived from the Latin or Greek name. We have got many elements which are named based on their Latin name, like sodium is natrium, yes, potassium is kalium. So these are from their Latin name. So these are the 4 different ways how you can give symbol to a particular element. We can write the first letter, or we can write the first 2 letter, or we can write the first letter and the second most prominent letter, or we can use Latin or Greek name. Okay, as I told you, you take a small piece of element or you take a lot of element, the property of element remains same irrespective of mass of the sample. You take 1 gram gold or you take 10 gram gold. Gold will be that same yellow in color and it will have same shine. You take a little iron or you take a lot of iron, it will get attracted towards magnet. So irrespective of the mass of the sample, the property of elements remain same. Now here are first 20 elements of the periodic table. You need to learn these first 20 elements. Okay. Hydrogen, helium, lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, neon, sodium, magnesium, aluminum, silicon, phosphorus, sulfur, chlorine, argon, potassium, calcium. So these are the first 20 elements of the periodic table and you need to learn it. Now elements can be further classified. If you classify all the elements, initially elements are the pure substances. They can be classified into 3 groups depending upon their properties. Metals, non-metals and metalloids. Okay. Non-metals includes your inert gases also, your noble gases. Okay. So we can classify element into metals, non-metals, which include your inert gases. They are called so because they don't react very fast like other elements, and metalloids, which are having properties between metals and non-metals. Okay. So going to the next part, children. Here we have got elements, their Latin name and their symbol. This again you have done in class 6, but try recalling it and try learning it. Sodium, its Latin name natrium, potassium kalium, iron ferrum, silver argentum, gold aurum, mercury hydrogyrrum, lead plumbum, tin stannum and antimony stibum. And these are the symbols of elements. Okay. Now talking about if some new elements are formed. Now these elements were already named. Now when we find something new, anything new, we need to name it. So the naming and everything related to these elements and chemical, it is done by International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry, in short IUPAC. And the name given by this International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry, we call it IUPAC name. Okay. So now if you get any new element, the name will be given by IUPAC. You and me cannot name an element according to our wish. Okay. Talking about metal, children, the most abundant metal in the earth crust is your aluminium. Aluminium is the most abundant metal in the earth crust, and the most abundant non-metal in the earth crust is your oxygen. Okay, so remember that. Leaving that, we have got a number of elements, and out of that a number of metals: sodium, potassium, magnesium, calcium, iron, copper, tin, mercury, silver, gold, and you can name some more metals. Likewise, many non-metals like carbon, nitrogen, fluorine, sulfur, phosphorus, selenium, bromine, these are some non-metals. Here we need to remember non-metals are mostly gases, but this bromine, it is a liquid non-metal. Neon, argon, krypton, xenon, radon, these are inert gases. They are also having properties of non-metal only. You may remember what we did in 6 and 7, properties of metals and non-metals. They are ductile, not ductile, malleable, non-malleable. So everything you have read in junior classes, try recalling those properties. Now, there are only a few metalloids on earth. I have just told you 7 metalloids. Some metalloids are given here. Boron, silicon, germanium, antimony, arsenic. So these are few metalloids. We can name them 7 in number. They are having properties in between metals and non-metals. Some metalloids, sometimes they are referred as metals also. Okay. Now, talking about the metals, the smallest part of an element, that is atom. We know every substance, it is made up of atom, and the smallest part of element is atom, and whatever property is present in that particular element, that will be present in one atom of that element. Whatever property, like if iron is attracted towards magnet, then one atom of iron will also get attracted towards magnet. If hydrogen is the lightest gas, so one atom of hydrogen will also be lightest than any, it will be lightest. So what we say, the atom is the smallest part of an element that retains all the properties of that particular element. So if you know property of that particular element, whatever properties are there, a small atom of that element will also have all the properties of that particular element. As I told you, gold is yellow in color. Gold is a noble metal, it do not react. So a big piece of gold, a small piece of gold, or maybe one atom of gold, properties of all of them will be same. Okay. Atoms are very small, you cannot see them with your naked eyes. Okay. And elements, they exist in the form of, either they will be in the form of a single atom, or maybe 2 atoms together, or maybe 3 atoms together, or maybe more than that. It depends upon whether they are reactive or not reactive. So some elements, they can exist singly. Their one atom can exist in nature, so they are called monoatomic. Like your carbon, sulfur, sodium, iron, and all the noble gases. When we write helium, we write neon, we write argon. We don't write He2, Ne2. So all these noble gases plus all these elements, they exist singly in nature. So they are monoatomic. So we say their atomicity is 1. They are monoatomic. Their one atom can exist freely, singly. Now some element cannot exist freely with one atom. So in that case, there are 2 atoms joined together. Like whenever we write hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, chlorine, we write it H2, O2, N2, Cl2. Why? Because in nature, hydrogen do not exist in form of H. Its symbol is H, its formula is H2. Because in nature, you don't get hydrogen in the form of H. It is reactive, it will react with another atom of hydrogen, and in nature it exists in diatomic form, that is H2. Same with O2, your Cl2, and this one N2, nitrogen. So all these are diatomic elements. Now some elements are triatomic. There are 3 atoms joined together, like your ozone, the ozone layer, which protects us from harmful ultraviolet rays. It is O3. Elements which are having more than 3 atoms joined together, we call them as polyatomic elements. Like for example, your sulfur is S8. Your phosphorus is P4. So there are 4 atoms joins together. Here sulfur, 8 atoms joins together. So this we call atomicity of an